I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot.
That hurricane turned Wednesday morning. It was going to Tampa. It turned straight at us at 6 a.m. on Wednesday. The first thing we should have all done is gotten our elderly, checked our parks, and got them out of here. We should have got out of here. But none of us were ever used to this kind of water. None of us saw this kind of water. We know now. We know now what we didn't know then. But being the person that was in this building, thinking that we were safe, taking in a disabled veteran in a wheelchair and two elderly women, thinking that we were doing the right thing, and then to find out the hard way, that still weighs on our mind, because at one point in time, my husband and I looked at each other and we knew the look that we were giving each other. We had an Eagle Scout make this beautiful wooden box for our flags to retire, but it was a very big box that came tumbling over, and it pinned my husband upside down under the water. At that point, I'm up there and he's not coming up, and I'm getting ready to jump. And if I got a disabled veteran that can't move, I got two elderly women that can't move, and I'm watching him, and I can see the battle under the water. And just as I was ready to jump, which was over my head, he came up. There are not words for that moment. I have nothing for that moment.
They donated a box, put the flags in. Okay, here. So that box was full when the storm came in. Full of flags, and he's gonna have tears in his eyes in a minute, because it pinned him underground, pinned him in the water. Okay, it flowed. If we're trying to save the dogs, I mean, he'll tell you a story, but so when the water receded, he looked at me and he goes, "Todd, I gotta do something with that box." Now it was American flag. I mean, it wasn't a flag, but it was painted like that. I can't see this anymore. So I grabbed it, brought it to my house, ripped the thing apart, and put it in the trash.
It's been really tough. I had to face my ordeals.
Every place I worked on the beach, because I worked on the beach, every place that I worked on was gone. So during that time, after this hurricane hit, I lost my job, I lost both our vehicles, and I lost half my house.
This water cannot come up one more inch, and our disabled veteran was underwater. This has to stop right here, right now. I pray, I take the full authority of God, and this is ending right here, right now. My husband has the nightmares more than anybody. My bartender, Lisa, her son, absolutely. My junior vice, he's already been to war. He already had his PTSD. This absolutely did not help. For me, it's more of the nightmare. It's always feeling trapped and I can't get out. And I wake up kicking the blankets, My husband gets up. What are you doing? I'm like, I can't get out. I can't get out. There are people that we have not even been able to account for. Kids that we knew that worked at Hooters. They stayed because not in the history of Florida that we're aware of do we ever have this much water. 10 people stayed in Hooters, and none of them are accounted for. They're all gone.
A year ago, after Hurricane Ian, I could see on the news that the devastation in the Fort Myers Beach area was immense, and I was feeling the need in my heart to help those affected. I had no idea where I was going, and for the first day or so I traveled around the area looking for a group that I could volunteer with. The VFW here had set up a supply distribution center, and something brought me here. I didn't know anyone at the time, but I pulled in and asked if I could volunteer. And they took me in. In fact, I wasn't yet a member of the VFW, but within 20 minutes of pulling up, they made me a member on the club. That was the day I gained a new set of brothers and sisters in a new place that I like to call my second home. Good morning from Fort Myers Beach, Florida, here at the VFW, helping them hand out supplies to everybody that needs it, and just basically even supporting the staff here. Today is day 5. I came in on Sunday, and I've been out front pretty much 8 hours a day, helping unload, helping distribute, just helping in any way I can. And at the end of the week here, I'm feeling like I've been on a deployment.
We knew, because we went out on the boats with them to see what we could do over there. They were all gone. They were all gone. That ocean took back more than we could ever replace. There's things that nobody's ever going to find ever again. It's not going to be the property. It's not going to be your pretty chairs. It's not going to be your heirloom diamond. It's our people. Our people got washed all the way out there, and they're not coming back. And they're the most important things we ever had here.
So we just had a Red Cross disaster relief bring us a bunch of tarps, a bunch of pre-made cleaning kits, and actually some brand new bikes that that insurance adjusters bought to get around the beach area because they couldn't drive. So they're done with them, and they brought us those.
At that point, it was just do the best we can to survive. We couldn't even get out of the building because the pressure kept us in. We were locked in a bunker, and we couldn't get out. So the only thing we could do is go up. And thank God we went up high enough to where the water started to recede, and we didn't drown because we were going to be stuck in a room. And, well, here we are.
Oh my God. This is the pavilion. I don't know what to do, guys. The water's getting higher and higher outside.
But the next day, our commander Ken Court showed up because I sent them messages. I sent them messages on the phone, and I told them, I said, somebody needs to call the police. We're not going to get out of here alive. I sent my father my last text message ever. Said, Dad, I love you. I'm so sorry for everything I ever did wrong as a kid. No matter what, please take care of my kids and my grandchildren. But that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
Seeing so much loss all around me was difficult. And in many cases, it was complete loss. So many lost their house, their car, and in some cases, even their livelihoods. When you're left with nothing, even the smallest kindness is a tremendous gift. The opportunity to be the giver of that kindness is an immense gift in itself, and the giver is always blessed as much or more than the receiver.
People that lost everything, I mean, people would come in here, they didn't have a place to stay, they were sleeping in their vehicles, you know? I mean, that was very hard, and we gave our house up to anybody that wanted. I mean, people came over to take showers at my house, whatever we could do.
Well, Lizzie was sleeping in she slept in a tent, then she was sleeping in her car.
Yeah.
Had nowhere to go.
Wednesday.
It was incredible.
One of the things that I remember very vividly is this guy and his wife. His car was destroyed. He came off the beach.
Oh, the silver car, yeah.
Yep. So him and his wife had to crawl out the windows.
And it was like a 2-year-old car. It was probably a beautiful car.
The thing was demolished.
But they were stuck in it.
Yeah. So he crawled out of his windows and come over and needed supplies. So of course everybody jumped up and, you know, what do you need? What do you
We
need?
gave him everything that would fit in that damn car.
Yep. Everything we did. And you know what? And the time that I spent here at the VFW to help people with supplies was, like I said, my house needed so much work, but I didn't care, you know? I mean, he was off at work, so I'd call him, hey, Tim, let's go to, you know, I lost both my vehicles. He had his car, his Corvette, and he'd pick us up.
That made it, but Karen's car got flooded. I mean, we rode out at Kelly Greens, and we saw the wave come in. We parked, and it was barely raining, and we saw the wave come in and wash our cars away.
We knew each other, but we were never really close. And it took a hurricane to develop a camaraderie, a friendship on so many levels that he lost his job. Everything that he was working for, he lost everything. We got together, said, hey, let's get together. Let's still try to make some work. Let's get some work, do what we have to do. And guess what? We became best friends over it. And him, anytime we need him, he's there for us. we never had that from before. So we learned a lot and we gained a lot, but we also lost a lot. So, you know. Like us, we lost everything, our house, our cars, everything, and instead of trying to fix our stuff, what did we do? We came down here because we were protected to help others, so we put others before ourselves.
This has been really impactful for you in a lot of different ways, and you had a experience. I'm not asking you to go into that, but how are you now?
It took a while, and it took my friends to help me through it, both of them. Now I can look back and I can handle it a little bit better, but when I start getting deep into what was going on, it's still not good. I have a lot of trouble still dealing with it. When people don't talk about it, it's okay. It's kind of like we're not thinking about it, so we're hanging out, we're having a good time. But when we get down into it, you know, my wife and I, we almost died. And I said goodbye to my wife. I said goodbye.
I mean, having
I said goodbye
73.5 inches
to everyone here. I said goodbye. I'm going to do my best to try to make us through it. But, you know, there was a certain point where my wife always says, when AJ stops talking, that's when we have a problem. And I stopped talking. I didn't even know what else to say.
Between combat operations and several years in law enforcement, I can say that I've experienced or have been witness to a great amount of trauma and pain. So many of us have. I want to assure you that it is possible for us to recover from the trauma and pain we experience so that our past is no longer creating our future. Maybe we can eventually reframe the perceptions about our trauma and pain in a way that turns it into something useful to us and our personal and spiritual growth.
But the water started going down, 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 and down. And Dusty looked at me and goes, I think God heard you. And I said, He has to, because if not, we're not coming out of this room.
So again, it was a bad thing for a lot of people, but in the end, there is some positive, some good things that came from it. Believe me when I tell you, I wouldn't want it to have happened.
Right.
But, you know, him and I are best friends right now. He calls me, I call him. He takes a break, I take a break. I hope that's on video. And then, you know, so we all hang out, and it's just, you know, we knew each other. Now now we go to each other's houses. We have lunch, dinners, whatever. We go to a restaurant. It's all of us. It's a group that we would have never had before. And like I said, you know, you got to take the positive out of something that was negative.
I said, if it is not your will that we should leave this room, then God, I commit my soul and my spirit to you. Into your hands, my soul and my spirit go. The PTSD was really, really bad for a lot of us in the beginning. I really don't think I can tell you that we have any less PTSD. We just got busier to outrun it.
The saving grace, I think, was the relief site, because it allowed me
And I'm watching throughout the my week. It's all fucked up. I'm so busy.
realize that there were people that had it worse than me, and it allowed me to forget about my own problems, and that's a double-edged sword. But about 3 months ago, I got in a really bad place, to the point that it scared me. I literally was in my FEMA camper and wanted to commit suicide, and I struggled with it for a couple of weeks. And I finally talked to a friend of mine, and she encouraged me to talk to somebody, and then I went to the doctor, and, you know, I'm doing better, but I think it took all these months.
That's one of the hardest parts, is losing everything that you had, especially you know, we always have our memories, but our pictures of our kids when they're little, those are pictures I'm never going to get back. They're gone. Those are things.
My shit's gone.
All of our pictures.
She took everything
It
back
took
to
us several days to get back in contact with each other. That was the hardest part ever. Going through what you go through, you hit survival mode, you do what you have to do. When it all settles, trying to call to find out, where are my friends, where's my family, where's my bartenders? That was soul crushing.
Nice.
Soul crushing. I couldn't get out of bed for 2 days. I couldn't get a hold of her. I couldn't get out of bed for 2 days. I just couldn't. You could not convince me that they were even alive. That's how hard that was.
Maybe the loss we see around us is simply making space for something new, something even more beautiful.
I also have to remember that I'm blessed, because hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll be able to go back home. And it won't be the same, it won't be finished, but at least I've got something.
We have to adapt, we have to learn, and we have to change. We're all going to have our moments. I have my moments. I just try to stay busier than my moments.
I wouldn't have traded that time on that relief site for anything. I miss it. I miss being able to talk to people and to help people and meet new people. And I think about so many of them all the time and wonder how they're doing. And
Still handing out supplies today. Been pretty sporadic. They blocked everybody from going to the beach yesterday and today, so it hasn't been as busy. But the people that come through, you can tell like they just need everything they can get. You know, a couple of the people like are just doing everything they can not to cry. You know, they've just pretty much lost everything.
We never thought we would be back here. We never thought we would be back where we are now. You couldn't convince any of us. Most of us were going to move out of Florida, just with the things, you know, just figuring that, can we do another one? Are we capable of handling this a second time? I don't know. But all we could do is just keep pressing forward.
We will survive.
We will always survive.
Were you trying to get out? No, I'm trying to throw her in. It's already in. Yeah, it felt like I floundered out. Something to hold on to.
I don't know.
We got plenty of towels. Oh, shit. Oh, everybody. Hey, go to number 4. You got this? Oh, Connie.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You stay. Is he out of the water? I was gonna go down and save you. Go. Everyone, happy birthday to you.
Making this video has been a tremendously impactful experience for me, and at times a heavy load to carry as I sorted through hours of video, watching over and over again the stories that were told to me by those who experienced devastation from the storm. I've often had the feeling that I was brought here for a reason, that I was not here by accident. I am thankful for sure that I was gifted the opportunity to be a part of the team that was so dedicated day after day for weeks after the hurricane to handing out much needed supplies to those in desperate need. And so many people here have thanked me for coming to help since I've returned. And that has been really gratifying, but honestly, the gifts that I have received through this experience are truly immense, and I will leave here feeling that I was the one who was blessed. A few days ago, the thought occurred to me that my work here was multifaceted. Originally, I thought that I was only supposed to be a supporting team member to those I was volunteering with and a beacon of hope to those who came to us needing even the most basic supplies for their survival. But then it came to me that maybe it was more than that. Sometimes we can't fix or save people. Sometimes all we can do is to show up in their moment of need and be a witness to their pain and struggle. I believe that I was called to be that witness. I didn't lose the things you lost, but I have experienced a portion of your pain through the stories that were shared with me. Thank you for entrusting me with your story.
And I literally made a joke about it. I said, okay, so is this like the Titanic where we take our last breath off the ceiling and we go for it, or do we just like suddenly just quietly go into the night? It's like, no, I'm not that girl. We ain't doing that at all.
She's still flying no matter what.
Meeting you was fabulous. Eating your food was, oh my Lanta, so good. Experience your, like, I don't know, I lost everything with you. You just showed up. You went through everything with everybody, step by step, minute by minute. And you took it all in, like you were a champ. And I don't know how you do that.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked this video, please take a moment to subscribe, like the video, and turn on your notifications. This way, YouTube will push the video out to more people.